Hi everyone, I'm Jani Chatrika and today we'll discuss the topic of corporal punishment versus capital punishment in the Sri Lankan justice system. First of all, let's see what mean by punishment. It is infliction of some kind of pain or loss upon a person for a misdeed. Deterrence, incapacitation, rehabilitation, restitution are the main purpose of giving a punishment. And corporal and capital are two forms of punishment. So we'll clarify on what corporal punishment is. It is a punishment which indeed to cause physical pain to a person, and this include flogging, beating, branding, mutilation, blinding, use of stock and pillory. Even though these methods not been used in present, these been regularly used in ancient Sri Lanka. According to the historical narrations, corporal punishment existed in Sri Lanka for centuries prior to Western colonization. This been reviewed by Robert Knox in his book. He was a captive of King Rajasingha II during the Dutch occupation in Sri Lanka, and it gives a vivid description of cruel and inhuman punishment carried out at the Kingdom of Kandy. Even during the colonial era, corporal punishment being used and most famous called Dandukande Gasima. But once the British made significant changes to the judicial system, this punishment method was eliminated. Since then and after the independence, this wasn't used, and at the present, corporal punishment is prohibited in Sri Lanka by its constitution. The constitution guarantees the fundamental rights of Sri Lankan citizens in Article 11 of Chapter 3, where it states that no person shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. So, as of the Constitution of Sri Lanka, corporal punishment is therefore a violation of the fundamental rights of any person, including children, even though it's been banned in Sri Lanka and not been used as a punishment method in justice system. This been used as disciplinary measure in schools and households against children. So, the government of Sri Lanka taking drastic action to eliminate those as well. As an additional note, though most of the countries have been prohibited the corporal punishment, some Middle East countries like Saudi Arabia still permit the use of corporal punishment both as a judicial penalty and as an administrative penalty in detention facilities. Next, we'll look at what mean by capital punishment. Capital punishment, also known as the death penalty, is the practice of killing a person as a punishment for a crime which he or she has committed. Even though capital punishment is legal penalty in Sri Lanka, there have been no executions since 23rd of June 1976. Although death sentences were handed down continuously by the High and Supreme Courts for murder and drug trafficking convictions, these were automatically commuted to life in prison. Though there are quite a few of capital punishment methods such as shooting, beheading, stoning, electrocution, and lethal injection. Hanging is the method used in Sri Lanka. The discussion of reintroducing the death penalty came to light time to time. After the killing of High Court Judge Saratambe Pittiya in 2004, these debates came to surface. And during the presidency of Maithripala Sirisena in 2015, he has signed the death warrants with the execution dates for four convicts with drug-related offences. And also there were demands that the capital punishment should be given for those responsible of the Easter Sunday attacks as well. But every time it came to attention of the general public, it's been hit with stiff resistance from human rights activists, NGOs, and foreign diplomats, especially from European Union. So, government had to reverse back their decision of reintroducing the death penalty. So let's see what are pros and cons of giving the capital punishment. First, we'll discuss pros. Capital punishment would provide a deterrent against violent crime within the society. So, anyone would think twice before doing such a horrific act. And secondly, gives deserved punishment for some crimes, some criminals committed acts which are beyond the point where rehabilitation is possible. Act of terrorism like Easter Sunday bombing and sexual abuse and murder of 4-year-old child Seya Sadeumini in 2015 and murder of the 9-year-old child called Fatima Ayesha in last May can be considered as these horrific crimes. And also death penalty will prevent prisons from becoming overpopulated. If prisons got overpopulated, it will lead to riots and various misconducts inside the prisons involving other inmates as well. And these convicted felons can influence the behaviors and choices of non-violent offenders upon their release as well. Finally, removing those violent criminals from society will improve the safety and well-being of others. A sentence of death prevents that person from committing another horrific crime again. So let's see what are the cons of capital punishment. When you give the death penalty for a person, it will eliminate the possibility of rehabilitation. And it's not good to carry out the death sentence without doing any background check of the person and looking into the reason why he or she tempted to do such act. And finally, from the researches conducted worldwide, it's been found out that giving the death penalty would not have much influence in the crime rate of the country. So, this means ultimate goal of giving capital punishment would not be achieved. The difference between corporal and capital punishment is that the corporal punishment is a punishment involving pain or humiliation, and capital punishment is the death penalty essentially. So, we have already established that corporal punishment cannot be given legally in Sri Lanka. And if you are looking into more why it prohibited, these are the reasons. First, it's unconstitutional and violating basic human rights, and giving such a punishment is inhuman and cruel. And also, the punishment would affect the person mentally and it would be a humiliation to the person as well as his or her family members as well. Now we have come to the end. From previous slides, we have established the corporal punishment is illegal in Sri Lanka, and by giving capital punishment would not also achieve its goal when it's come to reducing the crime rates of the society. So as a society, what we should have to do is improve the educational system to nourish and build people with great personalities who won't do or give support to illegal activities. Then we need to carry out research into criminals and discover the real reasons why they have committed to do such a crime and conduct awareness programs to do to the society with those learnings. Finally, authorities need to conduct good rehabilitation programs to all the inmates in the prison and convicted felons that after releasing they would not do any criminal acts. So finally, we can conclude that prevention would be the most important than the punishment. So I hope that by watching this video, you would have able to add something new to your knowledge, and thank you for your time.